Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere. Who survives the explosion? Hey Grey's fans! The wait is finally over. Grey's Anatomy returns for its 22nd season on Thursday, October 9th at 10 p.m. on ABC, and chaos is about to hit Grey Sloan Memorial once again. Season 21 ended with a devastating gas explosion that left the fates of many beloved characters hanging in the balance. While showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, and Ben Warren, Jason George, are safe, since they were outside when the explosion happened, everyone else's life is on the line. Fans are especially worried about Dr. Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, and Dr. Atticus Link Lincoln, Chris Carmack. The trailer shows Amelia Shepherd, Katerina Scorsone, looking heartbroken, sparking theories that Monica didn't survive. Meanwhile, Joe Wilson's Camilla Luddington desperate call, Link's not answering his phone, suggests he may be missing after the blast. However, Carmack's confirmed return as a series regular gives fans hope that Link is alive. First look images confirm Miranda Bailey, Chunder Wilson, makes it out, but others like Weber, Teddy, and Owen remain in danger. The premiere episode, titled Only the Strong Survive, dives straight into the aftermath, smoke, debris, and doctors racing to save their own. Beyond the chaos, the new season promises emotional fallout, rebuilding efforts, and evolving relationships. Meredith returns in a reduced role, balancing Alzheimer's research with her duties at Grey Sloan. Meanwhile, couples like Joe and Link face uncertainty, especially after their long-awaited marriage in Season 21. With shocking twists, high-stakes surgeries, and heart-wrenching goodbyes, Grey's Anatomy Season 22 is shaping up to be one of the most emotional yet. Who lives, who dies, and who will rise from the ashes? Tune in October 9th to find out. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Are you ready for the return of Grey's Anatomy? Grey's Anatomy returns to us soon, and we'll finally know how many of our queer beloveds survived the explosion that rocked Seattle Grace Mercy West Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital for the disaster-prone at the end of Season 21. When we last left the Hospital of Chaos, Piper Perebo's character went coyote ugly and forced bisexual badass Amelia Shepherd, Katerina Scorsone, to perform brain surgery on her sick daughter, and then accidentally set off an explosion with a gas tank she thought was empty, putting the doctors in mortal peril. We know Meredith is okay, and Ben Warren, who is certain to make this disaster all about him somehow, but we have no idea how big the explosion was inside the hospital. Dr. Beltran, Natalie Morales, and intern Jules Adelaide Kane were about to scrub in for surgery when the explosion happened in another surgical room. I'm not 100% sure where Teddy, Kim Raver, was in the hospital fighting with Owen relative to the explosion, and as much as I like Teddy and would hate to see a bisexual character die, I would sacrifice her if it meant Owen was gone forever. Sorry, not sorry. And I don't remember if Helm, J.C. Elliott, was on duty that day. And I think that's all our remaining queer women. It seems most likely Link will be the one to suffer the brunt of the aftermath, but only time will tell. Which would suck for Joe, but personally I don't think it would affect me or my enjoyment of the show. However, if it's somehow Miranda Bailey, I will start a riot. I know in my heart of hearts probably Owen, and therefore Teddy, will survive because Owen is like a cockroach, and I think plot-wise it would make sense to keep Amelia for the aftermath because she'll surely blame herself for this, even though it's definitely not her fault. And I don't think the show considers Helm important enough at this stage to kill off for maximum emotional damage. I'm personally most worried about Beltran and Jules, both because I love Natalie Morales and Adelaide Kane as actresses, but also because Beltran is just a recurring character and they haven't been giving Jules as much of a storyline as I'd like in the post-Mika world we sadly now live in. Hopefully they both survive and maybe trauma bond and kiss about it. They can even throuple it out with Dr. Ndugu if they want. But only time will tell. And luckily not too much time, as the show returns on Thursday, October 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who dies in Grey's Anatomy Season 22? See the predictions. Season 21 of Grey's Anatomy ended on a massive cliffhanger, with a gas explosion threatening the lives of several characters. Unless you saw them and where they were when that explosion went off, I don't think we can say anyone is necessarily safe, showrunner Meg Marinis told The Hollywood Reporter in May. She confirmed that aside from Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, and Ben Warren, Jason George, who were both outside when the explosion happened, anyone could be dead. Season 22 of Grey's Anatomy doesn't premiere until Thursday, October 9th, but viewers already have theories about which characters won't survive the incident at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. Screen Rant's Antonella Guglielsi theorized that Dr. Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, is among the casualties, noting that Dr. Amelia Shepard, Caterina Scorsone, looks distraught in the Season 22 trailer. There was some romantic tension between Monica and Amelia during Season 21, so it's possible that Amelia was reacting to learning that Monica didn't make it. The trailer also alludes to Dr. Atticus Link Lincoln, Chris Carmack, being missing. Link's not answering his phone, Link's wife, Dr. Jo Wilson, Camilla Luddington, says in the teaser. Link was in the most danger due to his location in the operating room filled with acetylene. However, Deadline's confirmation that Carmack will be a series regular in Season 22 seemingly suggests that Link won't die in the explosion after all. Morales was noticeably missing from the Season 22 cast list, further fueling the theory that Monica is going to die during the premiere episode. Guglielsi also speculated that the trailer could be hinting at Dr. Richard Webber's James Pickens Jr. death with a cover of White Flag by Dido. The song's lyric, "I will go down with this ship," could be a nod to Webber's leadership roles as chief of surgery and head of the residency program. Pickens Jr. is one of the only remaining original cast members, along with Pompeo and Chandra Wilson, Dr. Miranda Bailey. Bailey was also in harm's way during the Season 21 finale, but first-look images from Season 22 seemingly prove that she survives the explosion. Grey's Anatomy returns with explosive new season. The long-running medical drama launches its 22nd season with chaos, high-stakes emergencies, and shifting relationships after a hospital explosion. Key points. Announce Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere on October 9th at 10 p.m. on ABC, continuing the aftermath of the hospital explosion. Confirm Miranda Bailey survives the blast, with the season highlighting high-stakes emergencies and character recovery struggles. Highlight Ellen Pompeo's reduced appearances as Meredith Grey, balancing Alzheimer's research and surgery amid hospital rebuilding. For nearly 2 decades, Grey's Anatomy has been a Thursday night staple for millions of viewers, and now, television's longest-running medical drama is set to return with its 22nd season. The new season, premiering Thursday, October 9th at 10 p.m. on ABC, thrusts fans straight into the aftermath of last season's catastrophic explosion at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. If you thought the show couldn't possibly up the ante after 20 years of calamities, think again. This season opens with chaos, uncertainty, and a cast of beloved characters fighting for their lives. The official trailer, released ahead of the premiere, wastes no time ratcheting up the tension. Scenes flicker by in rapid succession: debris, smoke, and the desperate shouts of doctors searching for survivors. According to the Boston Globe, the trailer is deliberately light on details about who made it out alive, leaving fans to fret over the fate of favorites like Miranda Bailey. They wouldn't kill Bailey, would they? The column muses, echoing the collective anxiety of the show's devoted fanbase. However, first-look images and subsequent reports have confirmed that Bailey, played by Chandra Wilson, does survive the blast, though not everyone will be so lucky this time around. Season 22 promises a blend of high-stakes medical emergencies and emotional fallout as Grey Sloan's staff begins the long road to recovery. The premiere episode, entitled "Only the Strong Survive," sets the tone for what's to come: resilience in the face of devastation, and the personal and professional challenges that follow. Expectant father Link, Webber, Monica, Jules, and Lucas are among those in immediate danger as the hospital's corridors become a battleground of triage and heartbreak. The second episode, We Built This City, directed by Kevin McKidd, who also stars as Owen Hunt, focuses on the first day of surgical rotations, no small feat with the hospital itself still in shambles. Returning cast members include Ellen Pompeo as Dr. Meredith Grey, though her presence will be more limited this season. As the New York Times points out, Pompeo's renegotiated contract means she'll appear in fewer episodes, with her character splitting time between Seattle and Boston. Still, Meredith remains central to the story, balancing groundbreaking Alzheimer's research with her duties in the operating room. It's a fitting evolution for a character who has grown from surgical intern to the backbone of Grey Sloan, and her dual roles reflect the show's ongoing commitment to blending medical drama with personal growth. Other familiar faces returning to the halls of Grey Sloan include James Pickens Jr. Weber, Kevin McKidd Owen, Kim Raver Teddy, Katarina Scorsone Amelia, Chris Carmack Link, Camilla Luddington Joe, Alexis Floyd Simone, Anthony Hill Winston, and Scott Speedman Nick. The ensemble's chemistry has long been one of the show's greatest strengths, and this season, the stakes are higher than ever as each character confronts their own battles, physical, emotional, and relational. One of the most compelling storylines this season centers on Owen and Teddy's fractured marriage. The explosion forces them to work side by side, even as their relationship teeters on the brink. According to ABC's official synopsis, their collaboration under pressure will test their limits and force them to reconsider what truly matters. Meanwhile, residents Lucas and Simone face complicated emotions, especially as Simone's connection with newcomer Wes Bryant, played by Trevor Jackson, introduces new layers of tension and romantic intrigue. Amid the wreckage, hope and resilience emerge as recurring themes. The staff's determination to rebuild the hospital and their own lives serves as a powerful reminder that, even after disaster, life goes on. The second episodes focus on the first day of surgical rotations, all while renovations are underway, encapsulates this spirit. As the team juggles hospital repairs with emotional recovery, viewers can expect a season that's equal parts gripping and heartfelt. Season 22 will consist of 18 episodes, with new installments airing Thursdays at October 9th on ABC and streaming on Hulu the following day. The season's structure allows for both sweeping story arcs and intimate character moments, a formula that has kept Grey's Anatomy fresh for so many years. And while the show has weathered its share of cast changes and behind-the-scenes shifts, its core, stories about doctors, patients, and the messy, beautiful unpredictability of life, remains intact. Of course, Grey's Anatomy isn't the only show vying for viewers' attention this week. As highlighted by the Boston Globe and the New York Times, the television landscape is crowded with new releases and returning favorites. Netflix's Boots, starring Miles Heiser and based on Greg Cope White's memoir The Pink Marine, premieres the same day as Grey's Anatomy and offers a very different kind of drama, one set in the 1990s Marine Corps, exploring themes of identity and belonging. Meanwhile, HBO's The Chair Company, premiering October 12th, and Apple TV Plus' The Last Frontier, October 10th, provide options for fans of comedy and thriller genres, respectively. Yet, for all the competition, Grey's Anatomy continues to command a loyal following. Perhaps it's the show's willingness to tackle real-world issues, medical, social, and emotional, or maybe it's the comfort of familiar faces and the thrill of high-stakes storytelling. As the New York Times Riley observes, after 20 years of disasters at Grey Sloan, I would maybe be checking myself into a different hospital in the fictionalized Seattle area. But for fans, that's precisely the point. The show's blend of chaos and catharsis, heartbreak and hope, is what keeps them coming back year after year. With the premiere of Season 22, Grey's Anatomy once again invites viewers into its world of medical miracles and personal struggles. Whether you're tuning in for the adrenaline-pumping emergencies, the tangled romances, or the quiet moments of resilience, this season promises to deliver all the drama and heart that have defined the series since 2005. As the staff of Grey Sloan Memorial faces their latest, and perhaps greatest challenge, one thing is certain: only the strong survive. I was really against Joe and Link getting together on Grey's Anatomy, but I'm ready to admit I was wrong. Grey's Anatomy fans met Camilla Luddington's Jo Wilson way back in Season 9, and I think it's fair to say her love life has been pretty traumatic. From her abusive ex-husband Paul Stadler to Alex Karev informing her via letter that he had reunited with Izzy Stevens. These days, however, she's settled down with her longtime best friend Atticus Lincoln, and it's lovely to see her in a safe, reliable marriage, assuming Link didn't die in that finale explosion. I have to admit, though, I wasn't always rooting for Joe Link. As we approach the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, which hits the 2025 TV schedule on October 9th, I'm ready to admit I was wrong about wanting Joe and Link, Chris Carmack, to remain platonic friends. Let's take a look back at their friends to lovers arc, why I fought their romance so hard, and what ultimately changed my mind. Joe and Link were established as platonic friends in Season 15. Atticus Lincoln joined the Grey Sloan team at the beginning of the ABC medical drama's 15th season, but it wasn't until Episode 4, Mama Knows Best, available to stream with a Hulu subscription or Netflix subscription, that he crossed paths with Joe at the hospital. Fresh off their honeymoon, Alex, Justin Chambers, and Joe were waiting for an elevator when she heard her old buddy's voice and jumped, screaming, into his arms. They were quick to establish each other as being like brother and sister after meeting as undergrads and waiting tables together at Jimmy's Crab Shack. Joe and Link continued to be there for each other over the seasons. When Joe learned she was a product of rape and refused to get out of bed for days, Link showed up with chicken soup, helped with her laundry, and sat with her. He was also there for her when Alex left, offering to sit with her when she read the letter, and then asking if she wanted space or to go day drinking afterward. Joe supported him through multiple breakups, too, including giving him a place to stay after Katerina Scorsone's Amelia rejected his proposal. And in exactly 0 of these situations was it suggested that there were any romantic feelings, just friends being concerned for one another. In Season 18's Today Was a Fairy Tale, everything changed between Link and Joe when he told her he'd had a huge crush on her back when they worked at Jimmy's Crab Shack. At first, she seemed weirded out by his casual admission, but then it was clear that she was looking at him through a new lens. Too bad Link was still in love with Amelia. It would be one thing if Link started to see Joe differently over time, but retconning their friendship to suggest Link had always had feelings for her doesn't make any sense, because nothing in Chris Carmack's performance or Link's actions toward Joe suggested that to be the case. Link's confession kicked off a season and a half of bad communication. Of course, at that point, it was a foregone conclusion that Joe and Link would end up taking their friendship to the next level. They slept together in Season 18's No Time to Die, a rebound for Link, who was still crying over Amelia, and that nearly broke them when they both wrongly assumed what the hookup meant for the other. Seasons 18 and 19 robbed us of so much of what we love about Joe Link. They were no longer honest with each other. There was jealousy, miscommunication, awkwardness, and nobody to help them with their laundry. Rather than admit her feelings for Link, Joe kicked him out, and when he finally confronted her about using him for sex, she admitted she fell in love with him and wanted to protect their friendship since he didn't feel the same way. Of course, while he was stammering to find words, presumably that he did, in fact, feel the same way, she stormed off, and it took 23 more episodes. Yes, I counted, for him to finally say it. I wasn't a huge fan of how this played out, since it felt like one conversation would have saved, like, a year of frustration, but by this point, I had actually given up my fight against Joe Link as a couple. Here's what happened. A Season 19 story involving Joe's daughter got me on board with Joe Link. In Season 19, Joe realized that Luna may have trouble hearing and took her to get some tests. She started to spiral when she got to the clinic, overwhelmed and worried about her daughter, when Link showed up. She was surprised to see him, which means she didn't ask him to be there with her, but he did his best to keep her calm as her mind listed off the worst-case scenarios. This is the Joe Link of old I'd been missing. After it was confirmed that Luna was losing her hearing, Link tried to keep things on a positive note, but Joe asked for some time to process the news while they waited to see if there was a more serious underlying issue. Okay, so Link did not give her that space. But it was his next move that made me realize they were endgame. Link started teaching his son Scout sign language. This didn't go over well with Joe, but I don't think there's any bigger gesture that proves that Joe and Link are a family, regardless of what they label themselves. He was already planning for their future together, accepting her and Luna, ready to face whatever hurdles came along. Joe did come around anyway, once it was established that they weren't dealing with cancer or encephalitis, etc., and the way she ran through the hospital to share the good news with Link immediately was more romantic than any rom-com ending in my book. Now that I'm on board, I really don't want Link to die. The relationship between these two characters hasn't been as easy-peasy lemon squeezy as it was before romance entered the equation, but they've got a good thing going. They got married in Season 21 and found out they were expecting twin girls. But there is the issue of the hospital explosion and the fact that we were led to believe Link was in the room where it happened. Camilla Luddington has teased hard moments ahead, while Chris Carmack is having a little too much fun with the speculation. So before we find out if newlywed Joe lost her best friend and husband and has to raise 3 to 4 kids alone, assuming Amelia would take Scout most of the time, I would like the record to show that I am admitting I was wrong about Joe Link. The friendship that I was so protective of is exactly why they make such a good couple. Tune in to see if Link survived the blast and what's next for these two when Season 22 premieres at 10 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday, October 9th, on ABC and streaming the next day on Hulu. Boots. Plus 7 more things to watch on TV this week. A new series airs on Netflix, and the long-running medical show Grey's Anatomy returns for its 22nd season. Between streaming and cable, viewers have a seemingly endless variety of things to watch. Here is a selection of TV shows and specials that are airing or streaming this week, October 6th to 12th. Details and times are subject to change. The Military, a controversy and a drama-filled hospital. In the new series Boots, Miles Heiser, of Parenthood fame, stars as Cameron Cope, a closeted gay teenager who joins the U.S. Marine Corps in 1990, when being gay in the military was not allowed. Throughout the episodes, Cameron goes through boot camp and discovers new facets of his identity while forming close bonds with the other Marines. The story is inspired by Greg Cope White's memoir, The Pink Marine: One Boy's Journey Through Boot Camp to Manhood. Streaming Thursday on Netflix. The first episode of Grey's Anatomy came out in March 2005. For context, a person who was born at the same time is now able to vote and buy lottery tickets. The show's lead, Ellen Pompeo, who plays the title character, Dr. Meredith Grey, will still be her usual presence around the halls of Grey Sloan Memorial, at least a little bit, as she renegotiated her contract to appear in limited episodes. The season begins with a catastrophic explosion at the hospital, and I have to say, after 20 years of incidents that include mass shootings, bomb threats, and a flood, I would maybe be checking myself into a different hospital in the fictionalized Seattle area. Thursday at 10 p.m. on ABC. We've all had embarrassing moments or flubs at work that make us cringe every time we remember them. In The Chair Company, a new series, instead of curling up and doing some self-soothing exercises, Tim Robinson's character, William Ronald Trosper, begins to try to investigate and unravel a far-reaching criminal conspiracy. Robinson created the show with his writing partner Zach Kanan, who previously worked with Robinson on the sketch series, I Think You Should Leave. Sunday at 10 p.m. on HBO and streaming on HBO Max. Something spooky for the fall. As fall comes around, you could focus on watching football, making pumpkin-heavy baked goods, or indulging in the paranormal. True Haunting tells the story of two paranormal events, with episodes titled Eerie Hall and This House Murdered Me. The series is cut like a horror film, with witness interviews and reenactments describing the experiences behind these spooky tales. Streaming Tuesday on Netflix. Possibly the only thing scarier than a plane crash is one where the passengers are all violent criminals. That's the general premise of the new series The Last Frontier, which stars Jason Clarke as Frank Remnick, a U.S. Marshal in a remote part of Alaska, where the plane goes down. Frank then has to protect the citizens in his jurisdiction from the dangerous crash survivors on the loose. Streaming Friday on Apple TV+. Music stars, Michelin stars, and living in Hawaii. On July 22nd, Ozzy Osbourne, the lead singer of Black Sabbath and a reality star on The Osbournes, died at 76 after battling Parkinson's disease that was exacerbated by drug use. A new feature-length documentary, Ozzy: No Escape From Now, chronicles the last 6 years of his life, with a focus on his health struggles and the planning of his farewell tour, which never came to fruition. Just 17 days before he died, he played his final show with Black Sabbath in Birmingham, England. Streaming Tuesday on Paramount+. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.